Today we are here with both political party leaders for a press conference. So let's get started. First, the Federalists. Can you give me three main points of your political party's platform?
The three main points of the political of our the three main points of our political party's platform, the Federalists, will be reforming healthcare, energy, and the education system. The education system really needs some work. We are not ranked as highly as we need to be in America. We need to start championing our teachers. We need to give them higher salaries and make the job market more competitive, because clearly right now we're not getting the job done. For the healthcare, we would like it to be private. We don't think that the government should be providing healthcare to all of the people that are receiving it now. We need to make this more regulated and only give it to people that really need it. But the people that need it will make sure they have excellent quality. And for energy, we plan to keep our economy based on fossil fuels, but we are looking to expand into renewable energies because that is our future. We would start experimenting with that, but we will, again, stay with fossil fuels for now.
So expanding on your healthcare, how are you going to deem whether someone's worthy or not to receive the healthcare?
For the healthcare, we would like to set up certain family and household incomes. If you are at a certain level with this many X amount of kids, you'll receive healthcare. Those numbers we haven't worked out quite yet, but we plan to do that soon.
Okay, same question to the Nationalists. Can you give me three main points of your political party's platform?
Thank you. Our three main political party platforms for this year is education, environment, energy, and the economy. First, on education, we'd like to increase standard of pay and the standard of working in our education schools. We'd like to increase the per dollar per quota per student. And on the economy, we'd like to create jobs and stimulate investment. And we'd also like to invest in infrastructure. And on environment and energy, we'd like to invest in renewable and alternative energy, but we'd also like to keep the status quo on coal and other plants and such like that. So, thank you.
What forms of alternative energy are you guys planning on investing in?
Certain alternative energies is mostly just the renewables, wind, wind and solar, and also hydro. These renewable alternative energies are not as cheap, but in the long run they will help our planet, and they'll invest in our future. So thank you.
Again, to the Nationalists, how do you plan to fund this investment?
For the most part, we pretty much just plan to subsidize it in certain key areas, but we really haven't worked on how we're going to pay for that. I mean, it shouldn't cost much more, but that's about it.
Okay, back to the Federalists. How do you feel about the newly elected candidates and their performance?
I feel the new Secretary of State nominee for the Federalists is very good because he takes a tough stance on illegal immigration, and that's a serious problem these days.
Any other political party leaders want to expand on that?
I think all of our elected party leaders will do a great job. I feel like they're all pretty conservative, but they're all very level-headed.
Okay, back to the nationalists. How do you guys feel about your newly elected members?
Well, our Secretary of State's very good. Really like his topics on key issues and his stances. I feel like he will certainly benefit from our party, and I think we'll benefit from him. Our treasurer, Tommy Schmidt, is very good as well. And then our Attorney General, which is Mr. Santos, he's also someone that we can benefit from if we elect him. And then lastly, our governor, Mr. Clayton Covington, I definitely think that he can lead our state in the right direction. So, thank you.
Anyone else want to comment?
What's your biggest concern in the upcoming elections?
Okay, what's your biggest concern in the upcoming elections?
I think our biggest concern right now is that the Federalists will have a majority in the House and the Senate, but if a nationalist candidate is elected, we don't want to have just a lame duck week where we get nothing done because the two parties are arguing in the House and in the Senate.
How do you plan on dealing with that Federalist majority?
I believe if we have a Federalist majority and a Federalist governor, they can work together for the good of the state and the good of the people of Kansas.
That's for the nationalists, though.
What?
That's for the nationalists, though.
Okay. To the nationalists, what is your biggest concern about the upcoming elections?
I think our biggest concern is probably being able to get a nationalist governor, but then not really being able to get a lot passed with the Federalist majority in the House.
What are you guys planning on doing in the case of a lame duck governor?
Well, I think that a prior question is, will there be a lame duck? And really, I don't think there will be, with the fact that both governors are from the same county, Powell County. I think that a lot can get done with the amount of bipartisanness that comes from Clayton being the nationalist governor.
So we're moving to the next question.
Yeah, you can just go. So this was.
Okay, so today I heard a lot about the legalization of marijuana, and what's the Federalist Party view on that?
I think the Federalist Party would be agreeable to that. I think it would be great for our economy. We just have to find some way to regulate this and make it safe, but we also have to make sure that it's really doing good for us financially.
Back to the nationalists. Again, we've been hearing a lot about the legalization of marijuana, so what is the nationalist point of view on this?
Well, as our treasurer, Tommy Schmidt, is planning on implementing, of course, legalization of marijuana is going to pose huge revenue for the state. If we legalize marijuana, first of all, we eliminate, on average, about $18,000 is spent on inmates in incarceration. Typically, it is a 1 to 2 year sentence for people who are caught with possession of marijuana. That is going to free up approximately, doing the math, $320 million for the state to use in revenue just in prisons. We save that much on revenue going to prisons. That money can be spent elsewhere on transportation infrastructure and projects. Also, if the state decides to regulate the shipping and the production and the selling of marijuana, that it just brings in more jobs and more revenue for the state overall.
To the Federalists, what are you doing in your party platform to win the favor of the PACs?
At this time, the Federalists are working towards a long-term energy plan that will keep both the oil industry and the alternative energy PACs and the environmentalists helping with us, help us succeed in finding new forms of energy, but also keep our economy strong through the old traditional forms.
Okay, to the nationalists, what are you guys doing to win the favor of the PACs?
Well, I think there are a couple of things that we're doing. First off is getting our own nationalist PAC, the American Way, but also secondly, working with the opposing faction PACs, such as the Heritage Foundation, through being more open-minded about the policies that we make. Just like the Federalists, we are working towards a long-term energy plan that would be able to keep the jobs from oil and natural gas, but also switch us off into alternative energies. But also, we're working towards more of the agriculture and labor side as well, on top of the alternative energy and American Way PACs, because we are reforming the way we are treating our people in the workforce, specifically with the new bills that are just passed through the House.
To the nationalists, what PACs do you think will be the hardest to win over?
That would probably be the Heritage Foundation, but also I think the second hardest PAC to win is probably the oil and natural gas PACs, because we are trying to switch over to a new alternative energy basis, but we just have to get them to realize that we are not fully switching away from oil and natural gas, but rather we are trying to build up the bipartisanness between the two so that they can both exist in the status quo.
To the Federalists, what PACs is hard for you guys to win over?
I think the American Way will be the toughest to win over to our side because they're really a more liberal group. But I feel like the nationalists that I've met so far this week have had similar policies as we do. So I don't think it's something that can't be done.
Okay, to the Federalists, what PAC do you think is going to support you the most?
I think the Heritage Foundation will support us the most. They were founded on conservative ideals that the Federalists hold near and dear to our hearts.
To the nationalists, what PAC do you think is going to support you the most?
I think the biggest one that would probably support us is the American Way, but also I think that the alternative energy PACs, but also more or less the natural gas and energy PACs as a whole, because they are seeing each other as equals now, but also the governor candidate that we have now, Clayton, is working towards more of a progressive agenda, cooperating between the two. So I think that energy PACs as a whole are going to be a big thing for the Nationalist Party.
To the Federalists, what's been the hardest part about setting up a platform?
Well, I think one issue where there was two separate plans we had, and a lot of people had issues with both of them, was education. But I think we were able to settle on a plan that will help teachers, help students, and help the budget of the state, and make our education system a leader in the United States.
Same question to nationalists. What has been hard about setting up a platform?
Well, obviously, in a meeting of dozens of people, obviously everyone wants to get their opinion stated. They want to get it out there, and they want to contribute to the best platform overall for the state. Really, we just established a system of organization to make sure everyone's opinion was included into the final platform that we inevitably wrote.
Is that it? Can you give us specifics about what you plan to do with the education? Okay, to the Federalists, can you give us more specifics on the education reform that you guys are proposing?
With our education reform, we're really planning on pumping as much money as we possibly can into our system. We would like to really have the teachers be more motivated, but but we also want to motivate the students and support them and let them have nicer facilities, so new computers more often, more up-to-date textbooks, and hoping to make more opportunities for those who are excelling in their coursework to have harder classes and gain some more college credit.
To the nationalists, what are some educational reforms that you guys are planning on implementing?
Well, we would also go along with the fact that we need to stress the quality of the teachers is what is the most important thing. That they meet the regulations, the stipulations, and that we are actually getting quality education for our students, like you and I. But also the fact that when they can't get a lot of money as of the status quo because of our economic situation, then that's also a problem to take into account. The prior fact to making qualifications for teachers better is increasing our economy, because without a stable economy, then we can't afford to pay for those higher quality teachers, that higher quality education. So prior to quality education is a quality economy.
And last question, what would you say to your potential voters? Is there any remarks that you'd like to make?
I believe that the Federalist Party will best advance the interests of voters at Boise State because we represent many diverse people from all walks of life, and I believe that our policies would do the most to help businesses, consumers, teachers, children, and workers in fields of oil and gas, as well as renewable energy.
Any other Federalists want to comment? Okay. To the nationalists, again, what do you guys have to say to your potential voters?
Well, to our potential voters, I think we sell the better future. I think when you invest in infrastructure and education, the only thing that it leads to is economic prosperity. I think that to our potential voters, you know, if you want a greater future and if you want more money in your pocket, then you should vote for our party. So, thank you.
Any other nationalists want to comment? Okay. Are we done?
No, we can just, okay, so what can you do in this race to receive the most support for your candidate?
To the Federalists, what can you do as a party to get more votes for your candidates?
We need to make sure people know our solutions to issues, including economic ones and education, healthcare, everything that's important to voters. That way they will know that our positions will actually help them the most, because an informed populace is one that will vote in their better interest.
To the nationalists, what are you guys planning on doing to get votes for your candidates?
Well, I think the biggest difference between the Federalists and Nationalist Party on how we are getting candidates is that the Nationalist Party, as of the 2014 Boise State, is going to be a party of inclusion rather than exclusion.
So we can edit it in toward the end. So, how do you intend to work with your candidates to assist in their success?
To the Federalists, how do you intend to work with your candidates for their success?
For us to help our candidates out, we are just going to talk over the main issues, our ideas, our stances on different things, how we can help both parties out for the welfare of the state, help out the state of Kansas, and hope that our Federalist candidates win.
To the nationalists, what are you guys planning on doing to help your candidates win?
Well, of course, we're going to be working in conjunction with PACs to get as much support for our candidates as we can solicit. We're also going to be, of course, fully supportive of our candidates' platforms, which we wholeheartedly agree with, and we will most certainly, definitely push for the most important issues that are on the hearts of all voters in this election.
Do we need to end? Like, should I just thank both parties?
I feel like that'll wrap up our
Press conference for Monday.
Monday press conference. Thank you to both parties for coming out.
That'll wrap up today's press conference. Thank you to both parties.